All right, a growing number of Gen Z are turning back to faith.
And one historic New York City church is at the center of that movement.
Carly spoke to some young people before yesterday's Mass and joins us with the latest.
I certainly do. Yeah, who knew that there would be this remarkable religious movement among young people in the heart of New York City? We are talking standing room only, a line out the door every Sunday at St. Joseph's Church, which is in Greenwich Village. So I spoke to some of those young people yesterday ahead of this packed out Mass to learn why they are so on fire for God. Watch this. There is a revival taking place right now among young people who are going to church and embracing their faith in God, some of them for the first time in their lives. I'm at St. Joseph's Church, which was founded in 1829. It's one of the oldest churches in New York City, which is interesting because it's become a real hot spot to some of the youngest parishioners.
At our masses, they're full. The 11:30 a.m., there are people all over the balcony. For Ash Wednesday, it was out the door, down the steps, down the sidewalk, around the corner to get into church.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
I've seen successful ministries, but not a groundswell, not just at the parish here, but across the American church and beyond. I've never seen anything like this.
Do you think that there is a religious movement taking place among young people right now? Are you noticing it as young people yourselves?
I would say yes. I think even when I talk to classmates that aren't Catholic, they seem to have some kind of interest. They're always at least interested to hear a little bit about it.
When people think of this city, I don't know if they would think about this, but it's happening and you guys are a part of that.
I think that New York City is kind of a scary and intimidating place, but it's so easy to be Catholic here if you just kind of put a little effort into finding good communities like we have here.
There's a little bit of everything in New York, but I would say St. Joe's is a little bit of slice of heaven.
It's really refreshing. I think there's not a lot of places in New York where you step into a room and you see a lot of young people truly seeking the heart of God. And every time I come to St. Joe's, I really feel like everyone there is just seeking the same thing.
You know, it's a Sunday evening. You could be absolutely anywhere right now, but you decided to come to church. Why?
Spending time with God is so crucial, especially if you want to build a better life for yourself and really gain that fulfillment you can't seek anywhere else on this earth, truly.
There's a lot going on, and people, I think, are leaning more towards structure and just doing, seeking a universal truth.
So for about 25 years, I did not go to church at all. And I actually had a pretty negative view of the church. And it was about a year ago that I came back for the first time to St. Joe's, and it just shocked me. It was not what I expected at all, not what I remembered of the church. And so for that reason, I started coming back more regularly. And now I'm in the OCI classes to get confirmed.
This church is packed at every Mass I've been to with young, enthusiastic people who really, really want to practice their faith. And in addition, the discussion group that meets after Mass is such an opportunity to not only practice your faith, but actually learn about it.
Welcome to In Vino Veritas, our wine meeting that we have every week.
In Vino Veritas is Latin for in wine there is truth, and that always happens after the 6 p.m. Mass. 150 people come down into our church hall. There's a social mixer for people, and then everybody sits down and I lead a discussion about some kind of theological, philosophical, cultural topic. It's a great time.
My faith journey is kind of just getting started, so I love going and getting to talk to other people about their faith journeys, and I learn so much from the meetings.
What would you say to young people out there who are saying, religion isn't cool, it's not for me?
Well, I think there's a lot of people like that out there. I think I was once one of those people. I would say be open to anything. You never know what God's going to bring into your life.
The Word of God stays the same forever. It's never changing. It's always going to be the same. But culture and what is seen as cool might change tomorrow. It's definitely different than it was yesterday. So being a religious person is awesome, and it will always be awesome.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that I really want to emphasize is that this isn't, what you just saw isn't just taking place at St. Joseph's Church. I was told yesterday that really the religious movement that's spreading among young people is a real topic of conversation among priests who are all saying, yes, that they are noticing that their church attendance is on the rise in their churches as well, not just in the country, not just in this country, but priests from other countries around the world. This is something that's taking place right now, and it's just so amazing and remarkable to see. We talk about all these trends that deal with young people, and almost all of them across the board are always negative. This is a singularly positive trend that's taking place right now.
Remember, after Charlie Kirk died, we were seeing an increase too in church attendance for
that's
young
right.
people.
Absolutely.
And it's great if if you're single too, to go be amongst other Christians.
Yeah, I
Catholics,
talked to a couple who's getting married, and they're getting married at St. Joseph's, and they were talking about how important church is to them. But there is a real social element to what they do at St. Joseph's, specifically with these wine meetings that take place after church. They have wine and cheese, and the priest, Father Jonah, really dives into the gospel and the homily that he delivered. So there is a social element to all of this, and I think that's great as well. It's something that gets people more engaged and involved in religion and God. And
you said it's not just they have contemporary music in some of the services, and they have
so the 6 p.m. one I think is popular because it's more contemporary music and it's fantastic. And then there are more traditional music throughout the day. The 11:30 mass.
What age group do you think is the majority of those?
It's Gen Z. I mean, we're talking early 20s, and some people who had never been religious before and are finding faith for the first time, which is also unique because usually your faith comes from your parents and what you did when you were younger. But I talked to people who felt so lost, and that really is the common thread here, is they came to New York City, they had a job, they came here for work, they felt lost, they felt unfulfilled, and they filled their life with God and feel so much more complete as a result.
When did you do that?
This was yesterday.
Just
this was
yesterday.
Sunday, yeah.
Okay.
So it was a great day, and everybody was in good spirits because of the weather,
makes me
but also
so happy.
good spirits because of
And
God.
I love it in New York City.
I walked away feeling so light and fulfilled.
Maybe I'll
because of
bring
all of
Brian on
this.
next Sunday. I'll bring you
Yeah.
skip before your show.
I'm working.
Okay.
That's true.
You got to prepare.
I also
Carve out a little time. That'll
thank you so much, Carly.
Yeah,
That's great.
It was a lot of fun to do.
All right. See you on radio, everybody.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.